So I'm going to go ahead and start with Robert Frost's poem, Birches, and I'll explain why. I'll read it afterwards. When I see birches bend to left and right and across the lines of straighter, darker trees, I like to think some boy's been swinging them. But swinging doesn't bend them down to stay as ice storms do. Often you must have seen them loaded with ice, a sunny winter morning after a rain. They click upon themselves as the breeze rises and turn many-colored as the stir cracks and crazes their enamel. Soon the sun's warmth makes them shed crystal shells, shattering and avalanching on the snow crust. Such heaps of broken glass to sweep away. You'd think the inner dome of heaven had fallen. They are dragged to the withered bracken by the load, and they seem not to break, though once they are bowed so low for long they never right themselves. You may see their trunks arching in the woods, years afterwards, trailing their leaves on the ground like girls on hands and knees that throw their hair before them over their heads to dry in the sun. But I was going to say, when truth broke in, with all her matter of fact about the ice storm, I should prefer to have some boy bend them, as he went out and in to fetch the cows. Some boy too far from town to learn baseball, whose only play was what he found himself, summer or winter, and could play alone. One by one, he subdued his father's trees, by riding them down over and over again until he took the stiffness out of them, and not one but hung limp. Not one was left for him to conquer. He learned all there was to learn about not launching out too soon and so not carrying the tree away clear to the ground. He always kept his poise, to the top branches, climbing carefully with the same pains you used to fill a cup up to the brim, and even above the brim. Then he flung outward, feet first, with a swish, kicking his way down through the air to the ground. So was I, once myself, a swinger of birches. And so I dream of going back to be. It's when I'm weary of considerations, and life is too much like a pathless wood, where your face burns and tickles with the cobwebs broken across it, and one eye is weeping from a twig's having lashed across it open. I'd like to get away from earth a while, and then come back to it and begin over. May no fate willfully misunderstand me, and half grant what I wish, and snatch me away not to return. Earth's the right place for love. I don't know where it's likely to go better. I'd like to go by climbing a birch tree, and climb black branches up a snow-white trunk, toward heaven. To the tree could bear no more, but dipped its top and set me down again. That would be good both going and coming back. One could do worse than be a swinger of birches. I love this poem. The first time I heard it, I knew I had to write a story. And the story was inspired, by this poem, but also events from my own life, and about something that is greater than life. And so this is my story. It's called My Tree. I climbed a tree today, my favorite tree. The same tree that was good 43 years ago is the same tree that is good today. My faithful tree. When I was young, my pawpaw passed. I climbed my tree, my faithful tree. When I was young, sorrow was not far from me. Neither was my faithful tree. I found escape there. I found rest. I found peace. The cool breeze on my face, the fading sun painting the sky, giving color to my glowing skin, bathed in light, washed in warmth, despite the bite of the wind. The tree was my refuge, my faithful friend, my faithful tree. Every year, autumn came, and my tree would lose its leaves. As days grew shorter, the wind blowing colder, my tree was lost to me. The fire began to call. Its warmth beckoned me. The tree felt far, though it only stood just outside my door. Autumn smoothly transitioned to winter as snow whitewashed the world like a bedsheet. I briefly thought of the tree. A fleeting thought, but I thought all the same. I thought of the tree. I thought of those sunsets, those orange evenings, the refuge the tree was for me. The tree. Ah, but the fire gave me warmth. The fire gave me my orange light. As the thought of the tree left my mind, the desire for my fire burned in my heart. But then one morning, my fire died. All that remained was a bed of ash, cold, dead ash. The fire was far from me. The fire was dead. It left me cold and longing for warmth. Worry overtook me. And then I thought of the tree. It never died. It never left. It was always there, just outside my doorstep, standing tall, standing firm. The tree was always a refuge to me. I stepped out my door and swung up into the tree. My fingers felt as though the frost on the limbs would snap them right off my hand, but I climbed on. As I neared the top to my favorite nook of my favorite tree, the sunlight began to break through the wintry clouds. I shivered, but I rested. I rested in my favorite nook, of my favorite tree. 5 minutes passed and I noticed something. Everything the light touched began to glisten, as though sweating. The light of the sun was melting the frost, thawing what once was frozen, bringing to life what the night had taken. My skin soaked in the light, my body receiving warmth from the sun that rose yet again. The same sun that rose yesterday is the same sun that rose today. The same tree that was good in the summer is the same tree that is good in the winter. The tree remained. The tree continued to stand firm. It continued to be my refuge, my safe place, my hiding place. My tree, my favorite tree, my faithful tree. Thank you.